Good afternoon, Grace family. Pastor Jason here, and I want to just give you a quick note about where we've been, what we're doing this week, and some things to look forward to, and maybe a little message of hope for us to encourage one another with this week. This last weekend, as you know, we chose to suspend services on Sunday morning. It was not a decision we came to lightly. In fact, we were holding out for a while, saying we weren't going to do this, but we decided to suspend the service, and it wasn't because of fear or anxiety or hysteria. It was because we really wanted to do our part with the community to sort of flatten out the curve of the possible spread of a virus. We were holding out. We were going to continue to meet, but when the school decided to not meet this week and other area churches decided to do that, we thought we would come alongside with our community and do our part and just say, hey, we're with you, we're for you. And so it was with brokenhearted sort of reality that we said, you know what, we should do this also with our community. And that's why we did it. We weren't forced to do it. We know that it made several people sad. It made me sad. Just so that you know, I was up here on Sunday morning and was ready to greet anybody that came. And it just made me really sad to kind of be up here on a Sunday morning with no one. But I was encouraged to hear that families got together and worshiped and neighbors got together and worshiped. And that was really exciting and neat for me to hear. What are we doing now? This week, we are going to continue to learn. In fact, right now, our women's Bible study, one of our women's Bible studies is meeting downstairs. We got a group that's going to meet tonight. Our men's Bible study is going to meet on Wednesday, and we're sort of leaving it up to the community group leaders to decide for their group what they want to do. Some are meeting, some are not meeting. We encourage them to make that decision on their own. They are supported by us and the elders on what they want to do. So we are having gatherings this week. We're going to continue to do that. We're going to continue to watch and learn from the CDC, from government officials, from other schools, school districts, other churches. What are they doing? What's going on? And we're just going to sort of be learning this week what is happening. We are still going to learn so much this week about this virus and about our community and about our country and what's happening. We're evaluating the needs of our church family. If you are someone, if you're a member of our church or been coming to our church and you have needs and you can't get out, maybe you're an elderly person and you have something that you need in your home, but you're afraid to get out, please call us or reach out to your community group and say, hey, I need this or I need that. That's what we want to do for one another. We also want to extend that invitation to our neighbors and the others in our community that might need someone to run errands for them. So this week, that's what we're doing. We're evaluating that. We're looking for those opportunities to serve one another. But if you have a need, you're not in a group, you don't know who to call, please email the church or call up here at the church. We'd be happy to have someone serve you in any way that we can. James 1:5 says, if anyone lacks wisdom, they should ask with faith. God is generous to give. Well, we need wisdom, and so does everybody else. This is something new. This is not something anyone has a lot of experience in. We have several people in our church that do have experience in managing disease and managing crisis and crowds and chaos and stuff like that. But we're asking the Lord for wisdom, so we want to ask you to join us in that. I want to leave you with a message of hope and some encouragement from the book of Hebrews. This is the passage that me and my family looked at together yesterday when we were at home. The passage is found in Hebrews chapter 10, verse 19 through 25. I want to get into it. I want us to look at three things that we can glean from this that will help us this week. The writer says, therefore, brothers, since we have confidence to enter the holy places by the blood of Jesus, by the new and living way that he opened up for us through the curtain, that is, through his flesh. And since we have a great priest over the house of God, verse 22, let us draw near with a true heart and full assurance of faith, with our hearts sprinkled clean from an evil conscience and our bodies washed with pure water. Verse 23, let us also hold fast the confession of our hope without wavering, for he who promised is faithful. And then verse 24, let us consider how to stir up one another to love in good works, not neglecting to meet together as is the habit of some, but encouraging one another, and all the more as you see the day drawing near. Three things real quickly that I want to leave you with this week as you pray and seek wisdom this week. We're told to do three things. First of all, verse 22 reminds us, let us draw near with a true and full heart with the assurance of hope. Talks about Christ and what Christ has done, what he did when he lived, what he went to the cross to do, and when he rose from the dead, how he conquered, that we can have full assurance to draw near to Christ. So this week I want to encourage you to draw near to God. You don't need me to do that. You don't need a priest. You don't need a building. You don't need lights. Go to God. He's made it possible for us to draw near to him wherever we are, whenever we are. The second thing we see here is let us hold fast the confession of our hope without wavering. Oh, what encouragement this is for us when it seems like the world is freaking out. We need to hold fast the confession of our hope and do so without wavering. We instead of being anxious, we need to pray. Instead of getting hysterical, we need to worship the God who's over all things. Instead of seeing the COVID-19 virus as really, really big, we need to see it as really small in comparison to a great and big God. Instead of worrying about tomorrow, we need to consider maybe God is doing 100, maybe 1,000 things this week in our lives, in our churches, in our culture, and throughout the world through this virus spreading. So let's hope in God. Let's hold to that without wavering. The last thing we see here I want to encourage you with is, I love this. Let us consider how to stir up one another to good works. I love that. That's really what we're doing here. We're trying to consider how to best stir up one another in faith and in good works. That's why I'm sending you this video, that you would pray with us and how to do this. We're trying to be creative in how to do this. We have great comfort in knowing that the early church began, yes, it began with crowds repenting, but then they went into their homes and they encouraged one another in their homes. They stirred up one another in their homes to love and good works. So we should be doing that this week. We should be drawing near to Christ with a true heart. We should be holding fast our confession of hope without wavering, and we should be considering how to stir up one another to good works. Grace family, know that it is not our habit to not meet together. We meet all the time. There are women meeting downstairs. We have groups meeting all week. This last Sunday, we chose to suspend services for one Sunday. So we're going to continue to meet. We're going to continue to enjoy the fellowship with one another, but we're going to try to consider how best to do that for our community and for our church family to grow. I love you. This week, just like I say every Sunday, go and engage your world, but do it kindly, do it respectfully, do it in the grace of God. I love you, and you'll hear back from us later this week. Have a great week.